ladies and gentlemen, welcoming you all to International Affairs. Today is a Wednesday and it's the 29th of July. I want to begin our discussion as there is many news from around the world. Here in the studio, I have Major Retired Dr. Nasir Uddin Ahmed. He's, of course, a geopolitical analyst and a military veteran. I welcome you on to the program. And alongside, we will have Norman Floyd Barnes throughout Zoom. He will be connected from Washington, District of Columbia. There is some significant upgrades. I want to talk about the U.S. and Saudi forces are striking Iran-backed targets in Iraq. U.S. President Donald Trump is saying that meetings with Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky and Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu were very good. Mind you that the meeting with Ukraine's leader was kept very private. There was no media invited and it was not a state visit. And of course, very drastic scenes are coming out of the southern Japan, where we see a 7.1 magnitude earthquake killing several people, and we still do not know the death toll reminiscence of the Venezuela earthquake as well. I want to begin with Norman Floyd Barnes. What are some of the updates as well, and how do you see the Middle Eastern situation? Donald Trump in a meeting with Zelensky and Benjamin Netanyahu, leaders of Ukraine and Israel, respectfully, and it is now a multimodal war, or Iran, or I believe that is how the coming days are going to go forth. I want to pass it to Norman. What are some of the updates you have? A very good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Today, we are seeing that the United States has joined with Saudi in attacking Iranian spots, Iranian locations, weapons locations in Iraq. So this shows a escalation of the confrontation in the region and cooperation with Saudi in dealing with the situation with Iran. So now we are visibly seeing that there's communications, there's actions, and there's expansion in the U.S. military strategy in dealing with Iran. Iran most certainly will respond. To what level, we don't know yet, but we can almost expect something. We should hear something today. While here in the United States, the president was just attending a memorial service in Washington, and there was both the Ukrainian and Israeli leaders there. The president had private meetings with both of them, and they appeared to be cordial, and we will know, I guess, shortly exactly what that means and what action would take. So most certainly there will be some type of announcement being made. It was delayed from yesterday because out of respect for the late senator and his ceremony, but the response, I can almost certain there will be some type of announcement made shortly regards to that. On the other side, we are dealing with the weather situation, the extreme heat across the Europe, the fires, and we are dealing with same situation here in the United States. We got heat-related issues, we got weather-related issues, storms, intense storms are happening on the East Coast. Heat is the big issue. It's still summertime here. We still have another month or so to deal with, our summer, our American summer. But at the same time, we're noticing around the world there's certain things that are happening, like Japan. Japan is dealing with a earthquake, a 7.1 earthquake in southwest part of Japan, which I believe 13 people right now has been confirmed lost. And they're still looking in a shopping mall area for other survivors. I've seen now that this is now a recovery situation versus a rescue. So as these conflicts continues around the world, we're also seeing, particularly in the Pacific Rim and other areas, that we're now seeing nature is having its way with the surface, and there are more significant effects with nature and human beings on the earth. So earthquakes, hurricanes, weather-related issues will be the topic of the next couple of months. And how we deal with it, that's another issue. At the time right now, people are still wondering, still trying to figure out what is going on with the Middle East, how unstable this situation is creating real problems with the markets, the price of gas, the price of oil, the price of food, and everything is being affected by this. But we do not see any type of improvement or any type of window or clearance on this. We just see right now more and more attacks, a waiting period, a staging period, and then we're looking at escalation of fighting activities, but nothing has been determined on a strategy. The U.S. strategy is still unclear. Iran's strategy is still keeping steady pace and counter responding to everything the United States is doing. So here we go. We're still seeing more of the same, no improvements since February 28th. And now we're moving deep into the summer, and nature is responding with its situation with the hurricanes. We're in hurricane season, so we can expect a lot more situations going on. And at the same time, uh, we don't know. We don't know what's tomorrow going to be. Every day is a new adventure right now. Thank you.
Right, right. Excellent statements coming from Norman Floyd Barnes, really opening up the discussion for our show here today. We know and we must analyze what kind of situation Iran is facing, not only from Israel and the US, but recently Ukraine. Let me just read out the latest that I have. The Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said yesterday that his Ukrainian counterpart Andriy Sybiha assured him an attack on Iranian commercial vessel was unintentional and that Kiev seeks no escalation. However, Iran reserves the right to respond, especially as it assesses a drone strike on a commercial vessel. We also see Ukraine's president in the US alongside Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump. So one can definitely make an assertion where the coming days are going to be headed for. The Caspian Sea is, of course, a trade route between the Russians and Iranians. So that is important to understand what kind of cargo it was happening or what kind of cargo was stored in that commercial vessel for it to be attacked. I want to move with Dr. Nasser. How do you analyze this situation? As well as Oman and Iran poising a new voluntary toll on the Strait of Hormuz for those who wish to pass this crucial strait. How do you see these recent developments?
Okay, thank you, Partha, and warm greetings to our co-panelists and dear viewers. As you have said, development of the war situation in Middle East, it took place on two particular background. Number one is that, as you have rightly said, that one commercial ship vessel was attacked by the Ukraine front. This is one side of the coin, and the other side is that the Iranian authority, they have made phone call and literal communication with the Russian president regarding their full support to Russia as far as war machineries and support is concerned to face the Ukraine counterpart. And right on that situation, Ukraine president was called in the White House, as you have mentioned, and discussion took place between the US president, Ukraine president, and also the Netanyahu, the president of the Israel. So on this contrary, another dimension took place. The two French nationalities, the French people, they were captivated in Iran. They were under custody in Iran, and where the France has given their protest note, but it was not given importance. And on that pretext, already French, before they've moved few of the warships towards the Persian Gulf and other areas to support the US effort to control Iran. And recently, one particular ship which has the capacity of carrying nuclear armaments carrying aircrafts, that has been moved. That is a very significant move for the war scenario itself.
Right.
Now, on this contrary, we have seen that two sides have accelerated their attack. One, Saudi Arabia and USA combinedly, they are attacking on Iraq, where the most people are in support of Iran. They are the Shia people. They have their support, full support for the Iranian cause. But we should not forget, this particular attack took place immediately after the attack by the Houthis onto the Saudi side, on the Saudi, some of the provinces of the Saudi located near to the Yemen border, those came under attack from the Houthi side. And also the Iranian attack onto Jordan, where the American establishments are there.
Right.
So, basing on the first, it was a attack from the Iran side in the Hormuz Strait, where some of the ships were probably breaking the norms or the directions given by the Iranian authority to go as per the agreement signed or the ceasefire instruments clause. But we are not very sure that whether it was violated by the ship that came under attack from the Iranian side, whether they tried to bypass the safe channel declared by the Iran or not, that is not very clear. But that came under attack, and instrumenting that particular clause, USA has taken over the situation, and they have attacked on various targets of Iran. And by now, probably it is it started, if I am not wrong, on 9th July, and subsequently it got accelerated, and now the heavy toll is being caused onto the Iran side by the attack from the US side. Now the war situation has accelerated not within the boundaries of the Middle East itself. Now, as you have rightly said, Caspian Sea itself has come under the war zone. Jordan is under attack now. Saudi Arabia joined hands with the US for attacking onto the Iraqi side, and Iraq is no more an independent state we can consider. It is part of Iran now, because the portion which is supporting Iran, that has come under attack, not the other side. So it is on Iran itself. But nevertheless, we should not forget that Saudi Arabia has some defense pact with Pakistan, with USA and other allies. Those all will be now together in support of Saudi Arabia and USA. But Iran, as the question of their sovereignty and their survival is concerned, will not keep any stone unturned to take the targets onto Saudi Arabia, to compel Saudi Arabia not to go for a war against Iraqi territory where the Iranian supporters are there. And at the same time, Houthis and other the extremists in the Middle East zone, if you talk about the Hezbollah and other organizations, Houthis, of course, they will be fueled to give full effort against the Israeli people, against the Saudi Arabian targets and other point of interest of USA. So that seems that war is, though that negotiation is going on, but Iran clearly said that negotiation or the ceasefire doesn't mean surrender. Will not bow to anyone except Allah, so will continue. So this adamant attitude of Iranian authority, side by side, Donald Trump's maneuver to take on board Ukraine to attack the targets of Iran, not only in Persian Gulf, beyond Persian Gulf, that indicates that what will again accelerate. And European Union is also concerned. They said the lady who is the representative of European Union constantly keeping contact with both USA and the Iranian authority,
Right.
but she could not make any positive impact onto the ongoing situation. So all these are very volatile, but positive note is that crude oil price that has gone down, and there are many factors behind that, but that gives little indication that hopefully people are concerned that this war is causing too much onto the world economy. And as far as Hormuz is concerned, as you have said, Oman has given proposal that they want to voluntarily give some fees to Iran, but at the same time they have given another recommendation or another proposal that let us share the water territory control, 50% by the Iranian authority and the rest 50% by the Oman. But Iran is not going to agree on to that in any way. So again, that will pose another question. France is leading a coalition of 40 countries, those who are dependent on Hormuz for their energy supply. So those 40 countries, if they support Oman to establish their rights onto the Hormuz Strait, and Iran is adamant not to leave any space on Omani side, or the French-led coalition, or the USA or Israel, as they are always claiming, that indicates that again there will be war, it will continue, and there is no hope for immediate peace in the Middle East.
Of course, a very excellent commentary by Dr. Nasser. You actually described how the situation on the ground is. I remember US President Donald Trump saying that he has all the cards, and today it is becoming very prevalent when we look at the war zone, the situation on the ground. The US and Saudi joint strikes is one of those examples. We very rarely have been seeing retaliation by these Middle Eastern nations. However, now the situation has quite so changed. Of course, as per the news outlet and various sources are stating that there are Iran-aligned terrorists in Iraq, as you were mentioning, and that was the target of the US-Saudi joint strikes. There are more things to discuss on this very program so that we also understand where it is going. After a short commercial break, we'll be looking at some of the economic impacts. We know for a fact that Qatar has said that it will not be able to provide the required energy elements to Europe and has told Asia for us to wait until late October. So that is a very big warning sign. More to discuss after a short commercial break. Do stay tuned on this very program. And welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Alam Panta.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan,
opening an open war conflict with them,
testing nuclear missiles,
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing,
special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV's screen,
Really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks,
preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
They will face better projects.
with President Xi of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
simply not enough action being taken to address the problem of fossil fuels.
What their plan initially is towards the Caribbean, a place that has been met with two types of disasters.
Bangladeshi students at the same level of opportunity internationally and domestically.
International Affairs. Watch every Sunday to Thursday at 2 p.m. only on SATV and SATV Digital.
Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Alam Panta.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan.
Opening an open war conflict with them.
Testing nuclear missiles.
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing.
Special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV.
Welcoming our viewers back onto International Affairs. Today in the studio, I'm joined with Dr. Nasiruddin Ahmed as well as Norman Floyd Barnes joining us from Washington, District of Columbia. Here is the issue that will span out from the Middle East when Qatar says its force majeure is now going to be extended until late October or mid-October. So it is clearly not going to be able to supply to its European counterparts as well as the Asian nations that depend on LNG, which is liquefied natural gas. This cargo interruptions is going to happen because of the strains in shipping, the strains of the Strait of Hormuz, and of course delivery timelines are going to be shifted because of the war. So Europe is going into winter season later on, and it's going to need to depend on some kind of energy source. Unless the war goes away, this is going to be the topic for the next weeks to come. I want to ask Norman Floyd Barnes, how do you see energy markets? I believe that it is a cause of concern. Even in Bangladesh, a nation far away from the Middle East, is facing the economic situation. How do you see these recent developments?
My analysis is that we have a situation where the elements, the world, is being affected. Right now we going through extreme heat in the Middle East, extreme heat in Europe. It's been the hottest it's ever been, and pretty soon that's going to shift. The axis is going to shift. It's going to get cold, the weather, and energy is one of the things that comes from the region. Kuwait is mentioning, but they're having a problem right now producing enough product to be distributed through Europe. Europe is heavily dependent on heat in the winter time. Just like the situation with Russia and Ukraine, the infrastructure, the critical infrastructures are being targeted. And this is the war we're dealing with the infrastructures. How do we keep the infrastructures going? How do we protect the infrastructures as it's gone? Iran has figured out that the strategy is that we attack the infrastructures. We attack your trade, your ability to make money, your ability to do trade and commerce. This is what is the new issue that we're dealing with. How do we counteract? How do we deal with this? Traditionally, the United States and other countries, we are depending on our military might to deal with this. But this is a new level. This is exceeding the military. The military can't salvage this. They can't resolve these issues. It's a diplomatic issues because we know the weather is going to change. You know, we're going from extreme heat to extreme cold, and the problem is that the energy for the world comes from this region and is being manipulated by Iran and its associates. That is the balancing act. That is the trump card. That is the ace. Talking about the holding the cards. Well, we may claim, so officials may claim we hold all the cards, but we don't hold the ace card. The ace card is that who controls the energy, and Mother Nature has its own way of dealing with things, and we have to understand that we have to adjust to the weather situation, not talking about the disasters and the other natural things that will occur and come on. Iran has figured this out to the point where basically we'll let the environment dictate how things go, and we will control the geographical area, particularly the land areas, the water areas, the movements through the areas to supply the energy to the rest of the world. So if they can control that, they can control the destiny of the world. Basically,
right?
They can control. They can control the narrative. So they will have to be dealt with. There will have to be conversations talk about how do we comfortably coexist. The indication about removing them as a civilization is out of the picture. It's never going to happen. Not in our lifetime, not in our great-great-grandchildren's lifetime. It may happen, but it's not going to be through man. It will be through nature. But also, we have to understand that we have to survive. We have to move forward. And right now, the military actions that we've been imposing on this region is not going to prevail any sustainable results. Just because we are so dependent on the energy from this region that emanates from this region to keep us in a level where we can survive. Right now, the issue is going to come up. Will there be enough energy for the fall to heat Europe and other parts of the world? Will there be enough energy to cool the earth crust that comes in the region? How we deal with that comes to the point is that somebody has to sit down and understand that we have to use a different tactic in dealing with this situation, the confrontation. There has to be a understanding that winner doesn't take all. There's no winners. There's no complete winners. There's no dominance. No one's going to come in and tell that region what to do and who can control it. It's not going to happen. It's not designed that way. Iran is designed in many different sections. You have to, if you could have a war with Iran on the land, you're fighting house to house, neighborhood to neighborhood. You're not fighting a regime in Tehran. That is out of the picture. They have been geographically, they have been strategically planning how to deal with this. So it will be a forever war, door to door, and we know that do not work. That do not. We would drain right now. We would drain all our resources trying to do that to the point where we were comfortably, as we know in history, when you try to fight a war afar, we can go back to Napoleon, we can go back to Vietnam, we can go to we can do many different things. If you stretch your resources so far out that you do not have reinforcement and supplies to get back, you have to come back home. So right now we're facing a situation that we know we can't completely dominate and defeat them. We have to find a way to basically work with them, particularly the Gulf state countries. They understand that their livelihood dependent on trade and commerce.
Right.
And the world livelihood dependent on the trade and commerce that emanates from that area. So someone has to understand this and get down to the point where we can get back to a level where we can comfortably coexist, because Mother Nature is moving and is changing the dynamics and the narrative of everything. So unless we can solve our personal issues between the people, nature will take over. Thank you.
Right. Thanking Norman Floyd Barnes, an excellent statement coming regarding the downfall of mankind, to be very frankly honest, as people tend to fight one another, humans fighting humans over greediness, over becoming more of a superpower, becoming, show of force, whereas the real show of force lies with nature, as Norman Floyd Barnes was saying. I want to move with Dr. Nasser. Just yesterday, before we were able to finish this program, news has erupted that there has been a serious earthquake situation in southern western Japan. It has caused almost 13 deaths, according to the Nippon TV and as well as NHK, the state broadcaster for Japan, with its leader Sanae Takaichi saying that much of its rescue teams are now going to try to save every life that is possibly there in the face of such a mass casualty event, which has occurred not only yesterday but even 10 years ago, that killed 275 people and injured over 2,000 in an official count. It was into the central city of Kumamoto, where a population of 700,000 people reside. Even a shopping mall, Aeon shopping mall, went through a massive explosion when the ground shook up, most likely due to an exploded pipe, a gas line leak, which would be the cause. I want to ask you, nature's calamity does not have any warning. It does not require any diplomatic talks. It will happen when you least expect it, and it cannot be detected earlier on as well. Similar situation we see in Europe, France and Spain going through a wildfire. We usually do not name those two nations for wildfires. However, this time around, it has been affecting our European people as well. How do you analyze this situation? How should the administration look towards this kind of issues?
Okay. To be very honest, right at this moment, tsunami warning is also going on from the Japan side, that anytime there could be another earthquake or some change in under the water, which may cause tsunami as well. So this is the situation right now, and as you have already mentioned, there had been some casualties there. We must not forget that Japan is located geologically in such an area which is prone to the earthquake because of the formation of the ground itself in the world scenario, and taking lessons from that and another series of earthquakes that has taken place before, especially one you have mentioned before 10 years, they have taken lessons from them, and all their infrastructures have been constructed to face earthquake. Utmost importance have been given onto the safety of the infrastructures against possible earthquake, which may cross Richter scale, say 7, 8 or something like that. Even then there had been earthquake in Japan, which is beyond control, and they could not protect their infrastructures, particularly one shopping mall which has come under fire. It seems that even after taking so much of care, those buildings were not safe in front of the earthquake. But what about us? What about the rest of the world? Did we consider such probable calamities while designing our buildings? Probably not. Even our hospitals, even the other important infrastructures, those were not planned in that way, especially those who were made few hundred years back or something like that. If you talk about the Dhaka Medical College, one of the buildings are 100-year-old that the Prime Minister visited, and people had been asking, please, we are living in a very risky building. So that has come one side. Another, you see that fire may occur anytime, anywhere, especially present crisis going on in Bangladesh regarding the gas. This is because of fire caused in a particular dispenser where the LNG is coming up.
Right.
So that those technology has gone up to that stage that has to be put off automatically. Fire sensor, smoke sensors, those will be detecting, and in the water, especially in the sea area, you cannot go and start firefighting. So there has to be processes like that. Japan situation, Bangladesh situation, all dictates that we are yet to make foolproof structures to face the natural calamities. Same is going on with the wildfire in many of the countries across right now.
Right.
We cannot fight it out, or cannot stop it, but all possible precautions needs to be taken. Probably there we have not given any importance the way we have given importance onto the development of armaments, development of war machineries.
Right.
We did not give importance that much to save our people, save our environment, save our country, save our forest, save our water against probable calamities. So nature is taking its natural revenges, I should say, and we are paying heavily for that. And that reminds me, many of the accords have been done, World Summit has been going on and still going on. Lot of lectures we have listened to that. We have created so much of funds, especially the climate change fund and any other things. But the output probably is yet to prove that really we have done justice to save ourselves from the probable natural disasters. And that needs to be taken very care right at this moment, I think.
Excellent remarks regarding the environmental situation from around the globe, as well as including the fact regarding Bangladesh, how we are in
Screen.
really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump.
Of course, we must talk more regarding these environmental events because these events are beyond human control. However, we are in control of our fates when we look at the budgets, when we look at how various governments worldwide plans on tackling these kinds of situations. Let me give you all a perspective. Bangladesh is effectively located in the end of the Himalayan mountain range. So that is scary enough for those to understand what kind of earthquake might span from that kind of peak, which is of course the world's highest mountain peak as well. It is time for a short commercial break. Afterwards, we look at the geopolitics of this very region and how it's going to be shaping the road for Bangladesh in its future.
Is expected to hold bilateral talks.
Preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
They will face better projects.
With presidency of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
Simply not enough action being taken to address the problem of fossil fuels.
What their plan initially is towards the Caribbean, a place that has been met with two types of disasters.
Bangladeshi students at the same level of opportunity internationally and domestically.
International Affairs. Watch every Sunday to Thursday at 2 p.m. only on SATV and SATV Digital. Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Alam Pantha.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan,
Opening an open war conflict with them.
Testing nuclear missiles.
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing.
Special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV screen.
really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks.
Preserving biodiversity.
Welcoming our viewers back onto the last segment of International Affairs. We were in discussion of nature's calamities as well as the geopolitics and the wartime situation that we see in the Middle East, how it's going to be dictating our lives for the next 5 months left of this year. However, this time around we must discuss politics of our region here in South Asia, and I want to ask Dr. Nasser. We have a high-level American businessman and political operative coming to Bangladesh from India. He's of course serving as the ambassador to India as well. He is Sergio Gore. He is the special envoy for South and Central Asia. He's going to be visiting Bangladesh with many things to determine. Of course, in a 3-day visit, he's going to be talking about bilateral relations, trade, investments, tariff, the Rohingya refugee crisis, regional security, and Washington's interest in Bangladesh's growing ties with China may be one of the discussion points. I want to ask Dr. Nasser, you were the one to remind me of this foreign visit. A delegation will be coming. How do you see it? As we already know, Iran, Russia, many other nations have become the piggyback nation between China and US. We need to avoid any kind of confrontation in our territory for our betterment. I want to pass it to you. How do you see it?
It's not only me. I think any student or any researcher who is following the development of recent activities in Bangladesh and the region as a whole is keenly waiting to see the outcome of 3 days scheduled visit of Sergio Gore, who is the ambassador in India, as well as is also looking the affairs of Bangladesh very closely. We can remember that he is not only an ambassador from the US side, he was a very close political advisor to the President of USA, Donald Trump, and he was stationed in White House for quite a long time, making or formulating the policies of USA for different regions, including the Asia Pacific region. And this visit is taking place in Bangladesh when our first Prime Minister made the first visit to Malaysia and then to China. And from the Chinese side, a lucrative offer has come to Bangladesh to establish the corridor through the Myanmar territory up to Bangladesh.
With Kunming and Bangladesh.
Which will make a distance of only 1,000 kilometers in between Bangladesh and also the Bangladesh border side to Kunming itself. Number two is the recent visit of our Foreign Minister, Dr. Khalilur Rahman, to Moscow. And probably he has carried some message to Moscow or received some reciprocal message from the Moscow side, but it is not very clear to the media. They did not hold both the side, neither the Moscow nor Dhaka gave any statement officially regarding the point those have been discussed or what is the outcome of this particular visit. That has been kept secret. Number three is that recently our Chief of Army Staff visited Turkey, and particularly his visit covered some visits of some industries, defense industries in Turkey, which are producing armaments like the drone and other military gears and gadgets. And Turkey's Foreign Minister also visited Bangladesh last month. So basing on three particular pillars, if we see now the US envoy is coming to Bangladesh, that means definitely it carries a weightage, number one. Number two, the statements coming up from the Washington side or the embassy in India where this particular gentleman is stationed now, and also the media and US-backed medias in Bangladesh, India and in this subcontinent, all are telling one single line, that is to determine the future relation between Bangladesh and the USA. That is very important. All the media outlets, almost you can search out in the internet right now, most of the media outlets are quoting this particular line to determine the future relation between Bangladesh and USA. That is his focal point.
Of course.
And what could be the future of Bangladesh relation between USA and Bangladesh in coming days? Number one, they have already signed one agreement. If they hammer on this, Bangladesh will have to pay heavily because there are a lot of tariff issues are concerned with this. Future of local industries are involved with this. Future of China, import from China, import from other countries are concerned with that. And most importantly, tariff issue. Very recently, Donald Trump has imposed tariff 10% more tariff onto Bangladesh, onto 62 countries, which included Bangladesh also.
Of course.
And previously, we have seen after some lobbying, after some give and take procedure, that particular tariff was reduced for Bangladesh. Many other countries also got this benefit, excepting few, but Bangladesh got this benefit. Now he is coming to this, his coming visit. If Bangladesh can make him understand what they are going to really going to do as far as the relation between China and Bangladesh, Russia and Bangladesh, Turkey and Bangladesh is concerned, and most importantly, relation between Bangladesh and India. All this together will make some arrangement whether Bangladesh will be exempted from additional imposed tariff or not, number one. Number two is that Rohingya is a very critical issue, not only for Bangladesh, for the whole region. And 3 days visit of this particular gentleman, Sergio Gore, that includes visit to Rohingya camp on the last leg of his visit. That means in one side we are hoping that if we give corridor to the Chinese government up to this, maybe China will help us in solving the problem with the Rohingyas. Because it is only China which can influence the central government of the Myanmar as well as the other stakeholders, especially the armed forces operating in Rakhine state and Chin state, which is sharing border with Bangladesh. So only it is China which can influence the Rohingya crisis very actively. At the same time, USA is probably trying to encash them for some other purpose. Maybe in long run they will try to use them against the Chinese interests in this particular region. So all this complex situation now needs to be studied very carefully, very wisely, otherwise Bangladesh is going to face tremendous crisis. In one hand, for the survival of this government politically, you need to make arrangement with all stakeholders. But development of Bangladesh, and especially the financial support and the technological support and other support, you are dependent on China. So you will have to balance your relation between both the superpowers nowadays.
Of course.
And we are dependent on Russia also, because as on today you must have heard that our industries are going to shut down one after another only because of the crisis. This is not only the fuel or the gas, it is the electricity also. But Russia, if they can support us with the running of the nuclear plant they have established, that will make some change in our GDP. But
of course,
if they are they step out for any reason, if they step out, again our big question will come as per the future and security of our energy.
Right. Excellent statements by Dr. Nasser. I actually was writing down how Bangladesh was able to jump into the nuclear power generation age with just holding hands with Russia. And I'm sure many nations do not like the fact that we have stepped into this new kind of era of energy reproduction.
And that reminds, just let me add another point.
Please.
The earthquake issue. Japan has nuclear plants like that. But if there is any earthquake which can negotiate or which can destroy any part of the nuclear plants, just you can think what can happen.
Definitely going to be a detrimental disaster for Bangladesh. As we reel in from multiple sources of issues, we definitely have a geopolitical balancing act that must be conveyed by our foreign ministry. Not only so, we have a refugee crisis in Bangladesh from 2018, the Rohingya refugee issue that has still not been solved as we go in almost a decade of allowing these refugees living on our land. Excellent statements coming from Dr. Nasiruddin here in the studio. I thank him for his patience, his contribution and his viewpoints on various issues. Alongside, I want to thank Norman Floyd Barnes for providing the rhetoric, the narrative, and how Washington, D.C. is seeing the world through its lens. I thank Norman Floyd Barnes as well. Before I finish, let me also state why today is important. It's the 29th of July. It is looked as World Tiger Day. It is celebrated on this very day every year with the aim of protecting the natural habitat of the tiger and creating awareness among the general public for tiger conservation. This day was initiated at the Tiger Reconciliation Conference held in St. Petersburg, Russia in 2010. In the context of Bangladesh, the conservation of the Sundarbans is quite so important. It is the home of the Royal Bengal tiger, and we know for a fact that the numbers of this very species is coming very close to being endangered. With that being said, I am Shamsul Alam Pantho signing out on International Affairs.